Hi guys, and welcome to the second tutorial for animation preset, shapes and backgrounds. We are going to focus on Kaleidoscopic here, and we see another Kaleidia, maybe it's the sister or the wife, and we'll combine them together to get some amazing effects and some amazing backgrounds, by the way. The purpose of this tutorial is not to teach you something extraordinary, because here you can manipulate so much that it depends on your taste and what you want to do. The purpose is for me to bring it to your attention, and I leave it to your skills to get something wonderful. Let's create a new composition here. We leave the name to comp2, it doesn't matter, 1280 by 720 and 5 seconds. Let's take the kaleidoscopic effect or preset and drop it on the empty composition. Notice that it will create the shape layer for you, and almost we have the same controls as the box one. We have the speed, we have dimension, rounding, spread, and random seed. They are the same, but they will operate differently. You will see how. Before we start playing with the controls, I want to show you the animation. I will just press spacebar and wait for it to render. Here you are, it has rendered. You notice this is quite random, and it's working on lots of expressions. If you come to your shape layer and press E twice, speedy, you will notice all the expressions that have been used here on the inner radius, outer radius, and all of them. The expressions are not miraculous, but they are quite confusing if you like. It's all based on the random seed here and the dimension. Okay, if you change the random seed, of course, it's going to change how your shape is looking or how the animation is looking. Now, you have the speed, as we said, you can make it speedier or whatever you like. I will undo this one. And you have the dimension. I will zoom in a bit just to show you the dimension. Stop the animation here. Notice the size of the layer here. And this is the center of the dimension. If you come, you can click here and notice this is the center, it's going to move. So if you take the center and start moving it around, it will grow your shape or shrink it. And actually, it is really resizing the shape layer itself. Notice that all this is driven by the expressions. It's pretty interesting, by the way. Let's make it, for example, just like this, or we don't want to see black. Okay, on the borders, here you are. You have now something totally different. You can use this as a background, but also you can use it better if you apply another effect. I will undo the dimension here. I will Ctrl Z. That's okay, I think. One more, yes. And now let's do for the rounding. You will just round the shape more or less if you like. Of course, you can come to the shape layer here, 12 up, 12 down, and we can see content group 1, and you have points here. So you can make it from star, you can move it to polygon. It will change differently. You can go back to star and you can decide how many points you want. Of course, more points you add is going to take time to render. But usually these kind of backgrounds, you will just pre-render them and they will work fine with you. So now we have an odd shape. Now, there is something important I want to tell you. Don't reset. When you reset, this thing doesn't work anymore and becomes very odd to work with. Yet it's a nice flower that you have here. Cool. Let's undo the reset. We get it back. Now, you have your background here. Cool. You can use this one as a background. Let's go and take the kaleidoscopic sister. That is in stylize, and you have another CC Kaleidia here. If you take Kaleidia, for example, and drop it on the shape layer, then it will spread the shape layer by size of 20 around the composition. You can increase the size, of course, now you have less of them, or you can decrease the size. And here you are now, you have some kind of background that you can play in the background. Cool. Of course, if you reduce the speed, it will give you a very subtle background that's very nice. There is no point to play with videos here and stories like this. It's enough that you use this background and it's quite nice. So now it's up to you to start playing with the kaleidoscopic, that is the animated shape control here, and also to play with the Kaleidia and put them together. Now notice in mirroring here you have flower. You can also come and say flip-flop, so it gives you something else. And wheel, for example. Of course, you can come and change the colors just to bring it to your attention. I'm sure you knew that already. Here you are. So depending on your taste, depending on what you want to do, you can create here a very nice background using the kaleidoscopic and the Kaleidia. Cool. I want to show you something else. Let's go to the comp one. If you remember this composition, That's pretty cool, right? Let's take Kaleido and drop it on the, for example, the ad clip. Immediately look at the change. It's pretty impressive. It has almost destroyed all the video, but now you have a different background. If you put off, for example, the shape layer, now you'll be using only the video. And depending on what video you are using, you're going to have different shapes. Of course, you can add the rotation, for example. You can change from flower to star, something like this. Or you can change to wheel, whatever you want, guys. It can really give you something very interesting. So I hope you enjoyed the Kaleido and the Kaleidoscopic and in the Comp 1 and Comp 2 and start creating some animated background. Of course, I hope better colors than I have used here. Thank you. I'll see you in the next tutorial.